Welcome back. There was only ever one front runner, the head of the ruling African National Congress, Jacob Zuma, who's now set to be the next elected leader of South Africa. Zuma is a colorful character with a checkered private life, and his relationship with the media has been short-tempered and ill-humored. The election campaign featured huge rallies that played well on television, and they gave the impression that the vote was more of a coronation than a race. While critics view Zuma as a corrupt throwback to the old politics of Africa, his backers portray him as a victim of an intrusive media machine. The Listening Post's Meenakshi Ravi now on South Africa and Jacob Zuma, the man and the media reporting on him.
Jacob Zuma hasn't had it easy with the media. The image he aspires to, of a freedom fighter and man of the people, hasn't always punched through.
And Jacob Zuma is about to shake up this country for better or worse.
Jacob Zuma's probably no saint, but few really think him a Mugabe in waiting.
But this election campaign gave the ANC president in waiting, or JZ as he's known, plenty of rock star moments that are his trademark.
This election will be a defining moment for the ANC and for the country.
He is an absolute charmer. In person, he is a very, very, very engaging character. And this is part of his personality that he puts to political use. A huge key to Jacob Zuma's massive popularity among grassroots followers and grassroots people is that personality.
I think Zuma's got a difficult relationship with the media, but he obviously does realize that he needs them.
Mr. Zuma!
He obviously, is a bit also aware about the potential questions that they're asking them.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Most of those questions relate to his acquittal on a rape charge brought to court 3 years ago, and most recently to a corruption charge, which was also dropped. Unwelcome political baggage for a candidate who made his name at the side of Nelson Mandela during the apartheid years. But he made the most of his warrior past on the election trail. His signature war cry, "Bring me my machine gun," played well on TV.
He's done what his job is as he sees it. He is accessible to the media, he has been, he will give the interviews, he will give the news conferences, he will encourage his handlers, so to speak, to give as much access as possible. At the same time, make no doubt, he's deeply suspicious of the media, given that he feels that he has been very harshly treated.
And people can write papers and sell their newspapers and raise their adverts about it to say I'm guilty. I am not.
Faced with a candidate who attracts adulation from the voters and no-holds-barred criticism from the media, the ANC's campaign managers took a straightforward approach. They put their man center stage.
You can't divide Zuma from the ANC, so it's how the ANC effectively used media in this recent election campaign. And they used it very effectively, I think. They dominated media coverage. They were one of the first to really start to try and make more effective use of the online technology. They introduced Twitter groups, they had their websites, they had a myanc.org, so they really did try and make it a broad use of different media for this elections.
For the first time, political parties were allowed to run election commercials.
So vote for a better life for all. Vote ANC.
This is by far the ANC's biggest election campaign in terms of expense. They're on TV, they're on radio, they're online. The ANC and the official opposition, that's the Democratic Alliance, were the only ones who could afford to do that.
Despite all the endorsements and slick advertising, the spectre of the future president's past looms large in both South African and international media's treatment of him.
For the past 8 years, he's been facing corruption, fraud, money laundering and racketeering charges.
I think his problem is how he's depicted. I think, he's a traditionalist, if one can put it like that, and he just feels that there have been occasions when they went too far in portraying him in a very insulting manner.
He's also overcome allegations of rape and corruption that might have felled his political career.
The media have been giving him a lot of difficult times, particularly during the trial. There's been some very ugly coverage in the media, both locally as well as internationally. I'm sure some of it hurt.
Zuma's supporters counterattacked with fiery exchanges, like this telephone interview between ANC spokesperson Jessie Duarte and a Times of Johannesburg journalist.
If you are a South African who wants to see transformation, then you've got to join in the fight for it. I mean, the fact that you're a journalist doesn't make you a genius. You're just a journalist.
And it isn't just his loyal supporters who are fighting his corner. Zuma is currently suing his media nemesis, a cartoonist called Zapiro, for more than $1 million for a cartoon that depicts him preparing to rape justice.
There's one thing that people accept about Zuma is that if he's identified that there's a fight, he doesn't back down. He doesn't back down, doesn't care who it is.
You are invading my own dignity. And you can't be right. You may have your own understanding, and I'll take you. That's why I'm taking you on.
And what will the presidency of Jacob Zuma mean for the media in Africa's leading democracy? Are they likely to face new curbs? And will President Zuma be looking to settle old scores with those who have given him a bad press?
One thing that he's always been respected for was that whenever there's an issue, he would address the media.
We don't want the president to have a nice, cushy relationship with media. That's the kind of thing that leads to danger. What I think you would like and what would be the ideal is where there's mutual respect by media of the status of the president, and there's mutual respect by Jacob Zuma of the status and importance of the media.
More Global Village Voices now on the media coverage of the South African elections.
I think that under Jacob Zuma we can expect to see a shift in the media landscape, particularly relating to media freedoms. We already know that the ANC has tried on a number of occasions to pass certain amendments to bills through Parliament which would give them greater control over the media. I think the Film and Publication Amendment Bill was one of these which was rejected, thankfully. But I think that under Jacob Zuma there should be some concerns that such pushes could intensify. We already know that he's someone who doesn't take criticism too well. He has a number of lawsuits out with some newspapers, some of them aren't even in South Africa. He was up until recently a member of the Communist Party, and we all know the freedom that the media enjoys under communism. I'm not saying that this is something that's going to happen straight away, but I do think after the World Cup we could see some drastic changes in the media and in the way it's controlled.
President Jacob Zuma has exposed subprime journalism. The media have unwittingly got involved in this vendetta against President Jacob Zuma, and they should unreservedly apologize to regain the moral authority they have lost.
Finally, here's one that really isn't for amateurs. You may be familiar with the relatively new and dangerous sport of parkour. That's the art of jumping from urban rooftop to rooftop with nothing more than your own self-confidence to support you. Well, the BMX bicycle crowd has got in on the fun, particularly one young Briton named Danny McCaskill. His video was shot in Edinburgh, and although he has yet to rival his fellow Scot, Susan Boyle, in terms of web hits, he is proving to be very popular on the net. Inspired Bicycles is our web video of the week. Comes with a warning, though. Do not try this at or even near home. See you next time at The Listening Post.